Hey, anime fans! We all know the heavy hitters when it comes to anime villains, but today we're doing something a little different. We're gonna shine a spotlight on some villains who definitely don't get enough credit. Let's jump right in. Alright, kicking things off at number 10 is Akio Ohtori from Revolutionary Girl Utena. Akio is the kind of guy who seems like he's got it all. Charm, looks, power, but don't let that fool you. Beneath that smooth exterior, he's a master manipulator, pulling all the strings at Ohtori Academy. What's really wild about Akio is how he represents the corruption of innocence and power dynamics. He's not in your face like a typical villain, but he's always lurking in the background, twisting everyone's desires and fears to suit his plans. If you've seen the show, you know how his influence is everywhere, even when you don't see him. That's why he's one of the most underrated baddies in anime, hands down.
How do you keep from loving someone too much?
Love is a very beautiful, very intense feeling for a startlingly short period of time.
But how long does it actually take for love to fade?
Oh, quicker than you think, kid. Quicker than you think.
Now, moving on to number 9, let's talk about the Stray from Noragami. She's not flashy, but she's definitely a piece of work. The Stray is this mysterious spirit who thrives on chaos and makes everyone's lives a total mess. She's always scheming in the shadows, playing mind games with Yato and the rest of the crew. What's really interesting about the Stray is her twisted relationship with Yato. She's obsessed with him, but not in a cute way. More like in a let me ruin your life kind of way.
どういうことだよ。
この人なんてどうでしょう。
何が新規だ!
It's this weird mix of love and hate that makes her so complex. She's not just causing trouble for the fun of it, well, maybe a little, but because of her deep-seated issues with Yato. Talk about complicated. Coming in at number 8 is Esdeath from Akame ga Kill. Now, if you haven't seen Esdeath in action, you're missing out. She's the kind of villain who takes over the screen every time she shows up. A general in the Empire's army, Esdeath is all about survival of the fittest. If you're weak, you're toast. But here's the thing, Esdeath isn't just a one-dimensional bad guy. She's got this twisted sense of love for Tatsumi, one of the main characters, and she's genuinely into him, which adds a whole new layer to her character. It's this balance of being a ruthless killer with a weirdly romantic side that makes Esdeath such an intriguing and underrated villain. You might hate her, but you can't help but respect how complex she is.
ガンだな。ついに人を捨てたか。倒す。
Alright, let's talk about number 7, Madame Red from Black Butler. Madame Red is one of those characters who breaks your heart a little. She starts off as this kind, loving aunt to Ciel, but after some serious personal tragedy, she goes down a dark path of revenge. What makes Madame Red so compelling is how she's both a villain and a victim. She's doing horrible things, no doubt, but when you learn her backstory, you kinda get where she's coming from. It's a classic case of grief turning someone into a monster. You can't help but feel for her, even when she's doing stuff that's totally unforgivable. That's why she's such an underrated character. There's so much more to her than meets the eye.
Grell,
Yes, my lady.
learn something from Sebastian. Just look at him. I mean, this physique. See?
Madam Red.
Oh, sorry. Just a doctor's habit.
Next up, at number 6, we have Bankotsu from Inuyasha. Now, this guy's just plain cool. As the leader of the Band of 7, Bankotsu is all about that mercenary life, fighting not for power, but for the sheer love of battle. What's awesome about Bankotsu is that despite being a villain, he's got a strong sense of loyalty to his crew. He's not just out for himself, he genuinely cares about his comrades, which is pretty rare for an antagonist. Plus, his weapon, the Banryu, is absolutely beastly. Bankotsu's mix of honor, loyalty, and love for combat makes him a character who's both formidable and kind of likable in a weird way. Definitely deserves more recognition. At number 5, we've got Mad Pierrot from Cowboy Bebop. This dude is straight up nightmare fuel. Also known as Tongpu, he's this creepy, unstoppable killing machine who's lost his marbles thanks to some messed up experiments. Mad Pierrot's backstory is seriously disturbing, and it totally explains why he's so terrifying. The guy was tortured and experimented on until he snapped, and now he's just out to wreak havoc. Even though he only appears in one episode, he leaves a mark. It's rare to see a villain this unhinged, and that's why he's so memorable and underrated. You won't forget Mad Pierrot after you've seen him, trust me. Alright, at number 4, we've got Shogo Makishima from Psycho Pass. Makishima is one of those villains who doesn't just challenge the heroes, he challenges the whole system they live in. He's got this whole philosophy about freedom and how society is basically oppressing everyone, and he's ready to burn it all down to prove his point. What makes Makishima so fascinating is that he's not your typical bad guy. He's super intelligent, and his arguments about free will versus control really make you think. Plus, the fact that the Sybil system can't detect him as a threat, that's just the cherry on top. Makishima is the kind of villain who gets under your skin because he's not entirely wrong. He's just willing to go to extreme lengths to make his point. That complexity makes him one of the most thought-provoking villains out there.
君は僕を失望させた。失望するがいい。
やめて！
Sliding in at number 3 is Gecko Moria from One Piece. Now, One Piece is packed with larger-than-life villains, but Moria often doesn't get the credit he deserves. As the captain of the Thriller Bark Pirates, Moria has the power to steal shadows and create an army of zombies. Pretty creepy, right? But what really makes Moria interesting is his backstory. He wasn't always this lazy, cowardly villain. He was once a powerful pirate who got broken by the loss of his crew. Now he's trying to regain his former glory, but he's doing it in all the wrong ways. Moria's tragic fall from grace, combined with his cunning and ruthlessness, makes him a unique character who deserves more attention in the One Piece world.
なんだあれ、俺の影。
Now, let's talk about number 2, Hidan from Naruto Shippuden. Hidan is one of those characters who might not get as much screen time as other members of the Akatsuki, but he's definitely one of the most dangerous. The guy's literally immortal and totally loves inflicting pain. What more could you ask for in a villain? Hidan's devotion to Jashin, the god of pain and destruction, is what makes him stand out. He's not just a fighter, he's got this whole creepy religious thing going on, and he's all about those ritualistic killings. Hidan's combination of immortality, religious fanaticism, and sheer craziness makes him a terrifying opponent and one of the most underrated villains in the Naruto universe.
Come on, let's experience the ultimate pain together!
What is with this weirdo?
It's the commandment of the god!
And finally, taking the top spot at number 1 is Mercenary Tao from Dragon Ball. Now, I know Dragon Ball has its share of superpowered villains, but Tao is different. He's an assassin, no fancy powers, just pure skill and ruthlessness. Mercenary Tao doesn't need to blow up planets to be scary. He's a cold-blooded killer who gets the job done no matter what. He's all about precision and efficiency, which makes him a serious threat even to someone as powerful as Goku. This is one of the first times Goku has ever had to retreat from a battle to only grow stronger. Thanks to Mercenary Tao's encounter, Goku grows as a character and experiences true hardship. Tao's presence in the Dragon Ball universe is a reminder that sometimes it's the low-key villains who are the most dangerous. Definitely a character who doesn't get the recognition he deserves. And that wraps up our list of the 10 most underrated villains in anime. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more anime content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.